Lokanath Goswami was wandering around the 12 forests, and one of his dear friends was with him, Bhugarbha Goswami, who was a disciple of Gadadhar Pandit. At one time, in a place called Chatravan, in the district of, little village actually, of Umrao, Lokanath Goswami was living. There's beautiful stories about that place. When Krishna was personally living here 5,000 years ago in his manifested Leela, in Chatravan, he declared himself to be the king of the whole Braj Bhumi, especially that area. He was just a small boy with his friends. And he told his friends, you go out and declare that everyone in this Chatravan area, that they must accept me as the king. And if anyone picks any flowers without my permission, they will be punished. So the cowherd boys were declaring this. And they were inviting all the Brajavasis to come and support Krishna as the king. And Krishna was sitting on a little throne in the forest there. And Madhu Mangal, he was very enthusiastic. He was proclaiming, Krishna's the king of Chatravan. Everybody must accept this. And some of Sri Radharani's dear friends, Lalita Saki, Vishaka Saki, when they heard Madhu Mangal saying like this, they told him, no. Srimati Radharani, she's the queen of Vrindavan. And she's in a place called Umrao. She's taking the role of the prince of Vrindavan. And they dressed Radharani up as a prince. And she was sitting on her little throne. And they decided that nobody can declare himself to be a king without the blessings of the prince. So Brinda Devi made weapons out of little sticks. And thousands of gopis went to attack Krishna and the cowherd boys. And when the cowherd boys saw the gopis coming, chanting the glories of Sri Radha, Subal and all of them ran away. But they caught Madhu Mangal. They tied his hands up with a flower garland and brought him right before Srimati Radharani, who was the prince of Umrao. And they declared to Madhu Mangal that she is the queen, she is the prince, and no one has a right to take any title without her blessings. How should we punish you? And Madhu Mangal, very humble before Srimati Radharani and the gopis, because there were thousands of them, and he was all alone. He said, very boldly, he said, you should punish me by filling my stomach with prasad. And Radharani said to Lalita, she said, what is the use of keeping a useless Brahmin like this here? A useless Brahmin, the only thing he wants to do is fill his belly. Just let him go. So they let him go, but his hands were still tied up with a flower garland. Now, you may think a flower garland, you just go, yes? It was just, there wasn't ropes. It was, because they didn't even use strings in those days. They just had special ways of making the flowers together. And they would use natural strings from vines to bring them together. The strength of that garland was the bhakti in which it was put around him. So he was helpless. So he was very much afraid. And he went back to Krishna, and Krishna saw him tied up. He said, what happened to you, Madhu Mangal? What happened to you? And Madhu Mangal said that Sri Radharani is declaring to be the prince. And you have no right to have any role without her blessings. And Krishna said, well, I'm seeing that you're in so much anxiety. I'll do anything you say. What should I do? Madhu Mangal said, you should surrender to Srimati Radharani. So Krishna went. And when Sri Radha saw him coming, she became so ecstatic and uncomfortable in the role of a prince. But her friend said, no, you stay like this. And she was sitting on her throne. And the gopis brought Krishna and put him on the throne next to her. And then everybody, very happily, seeing them together, performed kirtan of the holy name. All of these beautiful pastimes are various creative expressions of pure love, because the ultimate happiness of a devotee is to see the happiness that Radha, Govinda share with each other. And that happiness is unlimited. When we take our happiness is in Krishna's giving his love to Sri Radha and Radha's giving her love to Krishna, then our happiness becomes unlimited. And that is the eternal nature of the soul. So it was in that forest that Lokanath Goswami was living, meditating on these wonderful pastimes. And he was alone most of the time. And by Krishna's arrangement, a desire awakened within his heart. He desired to have a murti, the holy archa vigraha, to worship with love. In the Western world, and sometimes even these days in India, people think that deities are idols. Srila Prabhupada explains, Krishna is the ultimate creator of all existence. The whole material existence is his energy. And if he wants to manifest himself personally, to receive the love and give his love through his energy to his devotee in whatever form he wishes, it is absolutely the truth that he does so. And the greatest acharyas had their Ishtadev, their worshipable deities. Lokanath Goswami wanted to have that loving exchange. But in those days, there was no Loy Bazaar where you buy deities. Vrindavan was a forest. Where do you get a deity? He was just sitting in this lonely forest near a place called Kishori Kund, which is one of Radharani's most favorite places. And one day when he was thinking like this, a beautiful looking Brahmin walked up to him, did not say a single word, but gave him a bag. Inside was a deity of Krishna. Lokanath Goswami looked at the deity of Krishna and then looked to thank the Brahmin and ask him who he was. The Brahmin was gone. He disappeared. Lokanath Goswami was in ecstasy. He started to weep. Krishna's here, but he was so confused. Who was that Brahmin? And what am I going to do? And how is this happening? And then the deity spoke to him. He said, my name is Radha Vinoda. And I have been living in this area of Umrao for a long time, just waiting for you. And without the help of anyone else, I personally brought myself to you. Which means Radha Vinoda actually incarnated as that Brahman to give himself to Lokanath Goswami. And then Radha Vinoda said, "I'm hungry, feed me." Lokanath Goswami went and begged for some food, made a fire, cooked bhoga, made a little altar out of stones and wood, whatever was there, and made the offering. And after making the offering, he made a bed out of flowers and leaves and put Radha Vinoda in his bed. And for many hours, Radha Vinoda's small-sized murti, Lokanath Goswami was massaging his feet, massaging his legs. He made a fan out of leaves and was fanning him. He somehow or other begged and got some cloth and made another bag out of that cloth, and that became Radha Vinoda's home. Because as Lokanath Goswami would travel, he would have that cloth and wear it around his neck. And Radha Vinoda was always pressed against his heart. Sometimes during the rainy season, the rain was pouring in torrents as monsoons. And the village people asked Lokanath Goswami, "Let us build you a temple, let us build you a home." He said, "No, I will not live in any home." There was a tree. It was a very ancient Kalpabriksha tree, and it was hollow inside. So he kept Radha Vinoda in the hollow of the tree and would offer all of his worship to the deity in the tree, and he would be outside, subjected to all the rain and all the cold. He didn't just tolerate the difficulty. He gratefully accepted it because he had the opportunity to serve his beloved. As he was traveling in this area, sometimes he lived very close to Chatravan in the forest of Kadiravan. In fact, I believe there is bhajan kutirs of the places where Bhugarbha Goswami and Lokanath Goswami would do their bhajan in Kadiravan. And he would meditate upon Krishna's leelas there.
You were listening to Radhanath Swami on devotionalnectar.com.